Did you know that lately it feels like everyone is suddenly neurodivergent? From celebrities like Elon Musk to rumors that Albert Einstein or Isaac Newton might have had Asperger. On social media, autism is often portrayed as some kind of superpower or like a genius trait. But how true is all of this? Is autism really just another word for brilliance? Or are we dangerously romanticizing a condition that's far more complex than we think? In this video, we're going to break down the truth about autism. We'll explore what autism really is, where the concept came from, what science says today, and why the neurodiversity movement has become both a source of hope and controversy. The goal here is not to demonize autism or glorify it. It's to understand the full spectrum, the beautiful, the difficult, and the often misunderstood reality. To understand autism today, we need to go back over a century. In 1911, Swiss psychiatrist Eugen Bleuler first used the word autism. He borrowed it from the Greek word autos, meaning self. For Bleuler, autism described patients with schizophrenia who withdrew into their own world. A few years later, Carl Gustav Jung popularized the terms introvert and extrovert. And in his writings, the word autistic meant someone extremely introverted, someone who preferred their own inner world. Over time, the concept shifted, and today, the DSM-5, Psychiatry's Diagnostic Bible, recognizes autism as a completely separate condition from schizophrenia. So, what does autism mean in modern medicine? It's classified as a neurodevelopmental disorder. Common features include difficulty with social and emotional reciprocity, repetitive behaviors, restricted interests, strong attachment to routines, and sometimes unusual responses to sensory experiences. But here's the first myth to bust. Autism doesn't look the same in every person, and it exists on a wide spectrum, and no two cases are identical. Extraordinary abilities, the savant syndrome. Popular culture often associates autism with extraordinary genius. Think of TV shows like The Good Doctor, where the main character has near superhuman abilities. These portrayals are inspired by real but rare phenomenon, the savant syndrome. Take Stephen Wiltshire, for example. He once flew over New York City in a helicopter for 20 minutes and then drew the entire skyline from memory, perfectly detailed. Or Daniel Tammet, who recited over 55,000 digits of pi by memory, setting a world record. These cases are real and mind-blowing, but they are not representative. Most autistic people do not have savant-like abilities, and reducing autism to superpowers erases the struggles many face. The Asperger's chapter. In 1943, Austrian psychiatrist Hans Asperger described a group of children who struggled socially but didn't seem to have delays in language or intelligence. This became known as Asperger's syndrome. For decades, people used it as a label for what some called high-functioning autism. But more recently, psychiatrists concluded that Asperger's isn't a separate diagnosis at all. Instead, it's just one part of what we now call the autism spectrum. And this idea of a spectrum is crucial. Autism isn't a simple yes or no condition. It's not linear either, where one end is mild and the other is severe. It's a spectrum, a wide range of traits, challenges, and strengths that look different from person to person. Some people may only need small adjustments in life. Others may need full-time support to handle daily tasks. So, how common is autism today? Globally, it's estimated that about 1% of the population is autistic. In the US, the numbers have been rising fast. Just a few years ago, it was estimated at 1 in 40 children. Now it's closer to 1 in 33. And here's something fascinating. For every 3 boys diagnosed with autism, only about 1 girl is. Why? Some researchers believe many women are overlooked because they tend to mask their symptoms better. Blending in by copying social behaviors, brain scans reveal that autistic brains develop differently. Some regions grow larger than usual. Other regions have fewer neural connections, especially in networks that handle social interaction. For decades, there was even a damaging myth that autism was caused by refrigerator mothers, emotionally cold parenting. That theory is now completely discredited. Today, the evidence shows autism is highly genetic, with heritability estimates between 40% and 80%. The neurodiversity movement. In the 1990s, sociologist Judy Singer introduced the concept of neurodiversity. Her message was clear. Autism isn't just a disorder. It's part of natural human variation. This idea resonated with many because it emphasized dignity, inclusion, and acceptance. But years later, Singer herself voiced concern. She warned that neurodiversity was being co-opted by corporations, focusing only on the competitive advantages of neurodivergent workers. In her words, the real struggles, especially for those with severe autism, were being ignored. Levels of autism. The DSM-5 now classifies autism into 3 levels of support. Level 1, people who need some support. They may struggle socially or with organization, but they can often live independently. Level 2, people who need substantial support with noticeably unusual communication and difficulty adapting to changes. Level 3, people who need very substantial support with repetitive behaviors and challenges so significant that daily life is heavily affected. This makes one thing clear: autism is not one size fits all. Here's the part we rarely hear about on social media. Around 40% of autistic people fall into the most severe category. Many require constant care, may be hospitalized in psychiatric setting, and face high rates of anxiety and depression. And yet, this side of autism often gets left out of the conversation because it doesn't fit the quirky genius stereotype. Platforms like TikTok and Instagram have fueled another trend: self-diagnosis. Videos trivialize autism and ADHD as cute or quirky. Things like, I get distracted easily, I bump into things, I drink my tea cold because I forgot it. But for those who really live with autism or ADHD, the reality is far from quirky. It can mean daily struggles, humiliation, and barriers most people never see. One woman with dyslexia and ADHD explained it like this: when I was officially diagnosed at 26, I was told I needed medication. It was one of the most humiliating moments of my life. And then I go online and see people making videos about ADHD like it's just being clumsy or distracted. They have no idea what it's really like to live with it every single day. Her words highlight the gap between reality and the way neurodivergence is often portrayed online. So here's the takeaway: autism is not a joke, not a trend, and not a magical ticket to genius. It's a complex, lifelong condition that affects people in many different ways. Yes, celebrating neurodiversity matters, but we also need to recognize that for many autistic people, especially those with severe challenges, life is not about quirky traits. It's about survival, dignity, and support. Before we romanticize, self-diagnose, or turn autism into a social media badge, let's remember, behind every label is a human being with struggles, talents, and stories that deserve to be heard. Now let me ask you, what do you think? Does the neurodiversity movement help create awareness, or does it risk ignoring the people who need the most support?